It started as an ordinary weekend, but the moment I looked out my window, I knew this pool party would become legendary, for all the wrong reasons. Karen from the HOA had somehow caught wind that I was hosting a gathering at my private pool. Normally, this wouldn't be an issue. My property, my rules. But what made it complicated was that I had invited some very high-profile guests, including members of the governor's family. Karen, ever the self-appointed moral compass of the neighborhood, decided she needed to intervene. By 2 p.m., she was at my gate, red-faced and shouting, waving her HOA credentials like a sword. "You can't have this party. This is a violation of community rules," she barked. I simply smiled, knowing full well she had no authority over my private property. "Karen, this is my property. You're welcome to leave now before I ask you to," I replied calmly. She ignored me, determined to escalate. Moments later, I noticed a couple of her friends from the HOA creeping around, trying to peek through my fences. My security team discreetly intercepted them and explained that any intrusion on my property would be treated as trespassing. Karen, realizing her peers were being removed, became more aggressive. She stomped her foot, insisting she had the right to enforce HOA rules anywhere, including private estates. That's when I decided to escalate things in a way Karen would never forget. I called my legal counsel and had them issue a rapid notice confirming that the property was private and any attempt to disrupt the event would be a civil violation. Meanwhile, I positioned my security cameras strategically to capture every move of anyone attempting interference. Karen, unfazed, continued her protests, unaware that she was essentially putting herself on tape. Inside, the party was in full swing. The governor's family arrived with their security detail, mingling with guests, enjoying the pool, and taking in the summer sun. Word of Karen's presence reached them, and their first question was, "Is she seriously trying to stop this?" When I explained the situation, their reactions ranged from amused disbelief to quiet admiration for my handling of the situation. Karen then tried the classic intimidation tactic, calling 911, claiming there was an illegal gathering on my property. The dispatcher politely informed her that since the location was private and the gathering lawful, there was no need for police intervention. Karen's face turned from anger to horror as she realized she had overplayed her hand. By mid-afternoon, the party continued uninterrupted. Karen had retreated, muttering complaints, while my guests enjoyed cocktails, music, and the luxurious ambience of a pool party that would be remembered for years. Meanwhile, footage from the security cameras was being archived in case any legal challenges arose, though it was clear that Karen and the HOA had no standing. By sunset, the party wound down, leaving a few satisfied guests and a neighborhood buzzing with the story. Karen had tried to exert control over my property, but her failure became the talk of the community. People were impressed with how I handled the situation. Calm, methodical, and utterly in control. The governor's family even complimented me on my poise and security measures. That night, as I relaxed on the pool deck, I reflected on the events. Karen's interference had backfired spectacularly. Instead of ruining the party, she had highlighted the stark contrast between entitlement and authority. I had authority on my land, and Karen's ego was powerless against it. From that day forward, any mention of HOA intervention at my home was met with quiet laughter from neighbors. I had set a precedent. Private property rights are absolute, and any attempt to violate them is met with immediate consequences. Karen had learned a lesson, though I suspect she'd never admit it. Never underestimate someone who knows exactly what they own and how far they're willing to go to protect it.